Hey everybody, Derick Van Ness here, wealth strategist, investor, and life adventurer. I wanted to talk about something today that can be super valuable, and that's just been meditation. I know everybody talks about it and everything, but I just want to take you on the journey of what meditating daily for me over the last 10 plus years, I think I started in 2008, so I guess we're at 12 years now, has done for me. And how that journey works, because I know a lot of people want to meditate and a lot of people wish they could bring it into their life, but like they just can't seem to do it, right? They hear, oh, I'm not good at that, or I can't do that, or I've tried it and it's so hard for me. So I want to help shift your perspective by helping you see like what this path really looks like, right? Because, and I'll just tell you how I got into it. In 2008, if you've been watching my videos, you know that like obviously the market crashed, real estate crashed. I was flipping houses at the time, making a ton of money. And all of a sudden I found myself upside down in 16 houses in Los Angeles. Now you can imagine paying 16 mortgages on houses that you knew when you sold you were going to have to write a check to get rid of them, but they couldn't be rented because they were too much. It was a really bad situation, right? So that gave me a lot of motivation to get past that first stage of meditation. So I want to tell you a little bit about like how my life changed because of that. So, and I joke because 2008 for me was definitely the hardest thing I never want to do again, right? It was really good for me. It really helped me to open up. It helped me to let go. It helped me to surrender and made a massive difference. And so I'll tell you that right now, like the key to meditation is this idea of surrender. Because if you surrender, I've got to do it right. I've got to be good at it. I need to shave my head and wear an orange robe and have a gong in my house. Like you don't need any of that. What meditation is about, there's a couple of levels you can do it on. One is just stress relief, right? Which is kind of why I started. Another is self-awareness. And another is like the spiritual connection to the world and the universe around you, right? And so when I started out, I was just stressed out. I was coming off of a broken femur. I had lost everything or was losing everything. And I just made it a practice to go to the park every day and meditate. But here's the thing, I didn't get to start there. The first thing I had to figure out was, how do I just sit still? Because so many of us get distracted by our body, right? Oh, my nose itches. Oh, my hair's in my face. Oh, I'm uncomfortable, all that kind of stuff. So actually the first week I was doing meditation started with just sitting in a chair, and I could do anything I wanted with my eyes or my mind. I was just gonna sit still for 20 minutes, right? And you can start with 10, whatever works for you. I found that with meditation, if I block out 20 minutes is better than 10. Because the first 10 minutes is the hardest part. It's where you're settling in, you're kind of getting there, your brain's going the craziest. The longer you meditate, the deeper you go, the easier it gets. And I also found that with 10 minutes, you're like just trying to fit it in where you can. With 20 minutes, you have to actually put it in your calendar, block it out on your time, and really account for it instead of just trying to squeeze it in between things, which is a terrible way to do something like meditation or exercise. There's actually a designated time slot, half an hour or whatever, where I'm going to come in, I'm going to settle in, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes, I'm going to get myself revved back up and go to work or back with my family or whatever you're going to do. So I would suggest 20 minutes, but for the first week, it was just about sitting there. And I was sitting there and I was just like, look, I didn't know what to do. And I was just like, I'm just going to sit here. And the first 2 days were tough. But by the third and the fourth and the fifth day, I started to get to where I'm like, okay, I can pretty much sit still for 20 minutes. So that was a huge accomplishment. And then I moved into guided meditations. There's a ton of those on YouTube now. When I was first learning, there weren't. So I had some CDs and some different things I listened to. But I found that guided meditations for me, especially those that I could ohm or go along with in some way, shape, or form, allowed my brain to focus on something, right? Because when your brain, what happens in meditation when you first start is your brain's just like, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? I've got to pay the bills. I got to take care of the kids. I got to clean up the yard or the house or whatever. Your brain's fighting to stay in control, right? And so what I found was this idea of surrender was really important. So I started creating the mindset that there's nothing more important right now in this 20 minutes than me being here and present to release stress and connect with my higher power. That was my goals, right? And so I just created that context. There's nothing more important. Yeah, there's all that stuff going on out there. That's not what I'm going to worry about today. For this 20 minutes, this is just me and my creator, and that's it, right? And so I would sit down, and I thought of it, some people think of like prayer and praying. I thought of this as like praying is like talking to your creator. To me, this was like listening. And I kind of believe that the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, knows a lot more than me, a lot smarter than me. So I'm open to listen. I could give 20 minutes a day. And so I did that. And I as soon as those thoughts came up, what about the kids? I just surrender it with every breath. I breathe in and let go. And I breathe in and let go. And here's what started to happen is I got really good. Stress would come up. I'd let it just roll off my shoulders. Stress would come up. I'd let it roll off my shoulders. And I used breathing every time I breathed out to surrender. And here's where it started to roll into my real life, and the journey started for me, was something happens at work. And after I'd been practicing this in meditation for several months, something would come up and it'd be like, and normally I'd react and freak out or get stressed out. And all of a sudden it'd happen. And then I just let it go. And then I could think clearly again. I could make better decisions. I didn't get upset with people. I started being more loving and forgiving with their shortcomings and with my own shortcomings. Instead of being like, oh, I'm so stupid. Why did I say that? Why did I do this? I'd let that go. I'd surrender it. And this is all starting to happen instinctually, right? Because I'm spending every day for 20 minutes, surrender, let it go, surrender, surrender, let it go, right? And just giving it to my creator, giving it to God, whatever your words are that you like. And over time, what happens is you don't get freaked out. You don't get revved up. When things happen, you process them, but I'm going to be okay because you're used to being in the present moment. So now I'm okay in the present. This thing has happened. I know that I have the ability to let it go, be with that, and come back to my center, and then I can make decisions about things, right? And the odd thing that felt like it happened is this. When you're doing life, like if you ever had a new job, when you first get a new job, it's like, it seems so fast, right? There's all these things going on and you got to do this and you got to do that and you have to talk to this person and take care of that. But as you're with a job for longer and longer and longer, the job slows down, right? The same amount of work is much easier because you know how it works. So this is what happens with meditation, and I've seen this happen over the years, is the deeper I go into meditation, the more I learn how to surrender things, and I realize that when things happen, it's not the end of the world, the more life slows down. So as life slows down, you can make better decisions. Your ability to be effective and nimble and speak off the cuff get better and better and better. Because you're not getting frantic all the time. You're not freaking out. When things come at you, they're coming, and you're like, whew, I'm okay. Create some space there, get centered. Boom, I got that, right? And so rather than running around like a chicken with your head cut off and feeling like everything's too crazy and the world's on fire, you can slow down, you can take things in, you have your full capacity, you're able to separate all the drama from what needs to be seen, and so the game slows down, right? So that was the next thing that happened, is after I surrendered and stopped panicking, the world slowed down and I'm able to get much more done. I'm able to enjoy life more. I'm able to find those cracks in between all the craziness, stretch them out and enjoy them more, right? So that's kind of the second thing, and that happened not that long into my journey. I didn't realize it fully for a year or two, but that started to happen. Then what happened is, as I started to find more and more and more space, I realized that, hey, I can take this state that I get to in meditation, and to me it's almost like a buzz. Like if you've ever had a couple of beers and you've got a little bit of a buzz, not a crazy buzz, you're not drunk, but just kind of like a happiness and a buzziness, and everything looks prettier and is more beautiful, and you're more loving and you're more forgiving and you let things roll off your shoulders. You get that in meditation, right? And if you really pay attention, something that really guided me was, in meditation, if you see the Buddha, right, he sits with his hands up, held up like this. If you rub your hands together and you hold them up quite often, you can feel this tingling. And that tingling that happens, I believe, is the energy in your body, right? Like the vibration that's happening. And so we can surrender into that. As you surrender into that and let it take over, you get that buzzy feeling, right? And here's what's cool. Once I started finding the cracks in between all the craziness, I started being able to go back to where I was in meditation, or come out of meditation and say, hey, this is who I want to be. This is a great version of me. I'm going to see how long I can hold this feeling and just stay present as much as possible. And then what I found was, of course, life happens and you get knocked out of that state and you come back to being, taking care of stuff and being a business owner or investor or whatever you are in your life. But then the cracks would come and I'd be like, oh, I have a little space here. And I could go back into that state much more easily because I'd practiced it so many times in meditation that I could just click back in to that space of peacefulness, of happiness, of loving, of bliss. And so things slowed down. I found more space. I started using that space to be more present and connected. And it made a massive difference for me in my relationships with people and my ability to connect with people, right? So, and then as that has continued to happen, then I was able to open up during those things and stay present, but not only stay present, and this may or may not resonate for you, but literally be divinely guided to where I was able to separate the drama out. Now I've got this space, I can connect in, and then I can listen to what felt true to me, what felt called to me, what was my higher connection telling me, right? And I could tune into that on a regular basis. And it's literally like somebody's just grabbing you by the shirt and dragging you through life. Starts telling you how to make decisions, how to stand up for yourself. My integrity got better. I was able to say no to things that weren't a great fit for me. I was able to be more honest. And listen, I'm not perfect, right? I've done plenty of things that were knuckleheaded things in my life, but I was able to be in that state more, be more divinely guided. And I can't express to you enough how many serendipitous things come along where I'd just be walking past something when I lived in New York City or somewhere, and there'd be a big line of people and I'd ask the person at the door, oh, hey, what's going on here? And they'd say, oh, this really cool thing's happening. And I would say, wow, how do we get tickets? And he's like, oh, well, if you just walk in here, blah, blah, blah. Or I'd ask a friend, I'd say, hey, do you know anything about this? And they'd say, oh yeah, I've got a pass to that club. We can just get you in. But it'd be amazing how many things just like lined up for me, just boom, boom, boom. And I know you know what I'm talking about because we've all been there, right? You're having that great day, everything goes your way. You find the right parking spots, or you're able to get into things for free, or your dinner gets comped, or you meet just the right people, or everything falls into place. You can live in that state ongoingly. If you learn how to go through these steps, I have found that I can literally live in a state of serendipity where I'm open to whatever's there, I'm being divinely guided, I'm staying present, and as I do, if I listen to my intuition, right? Not my brain thinking everything, but like you're just like, oh, it'd be really cool to do this, or I should do that. And you can let that happen. Now I realize this doesn't mean like let go of your responsibilities in your life. This means take care of all of that, but stay open to what's possible. And so over the course of 5, 6, 10 years plus, I've found that you can get to a state of living in constant serendipity. It starts with stress relief, then it goes to slowing down, then it goes to connection, and that connection will guide you through life. So, if you've always wanted to start meditating, just start by sitting silently for 10 or 20 minutes a day. Do that until you're comfortable. Then I would suggest moving into guided meditations or mantra-based meditations where maybe you're saying something to yourself over and over because that gives your brain something to focus on instead of trying to turn it off. And then as the silence starts to sneak in and you start to find that silence, relax into it, connect to that buzziness, that energy I was talking about, and it will lead you the rest of the way. So, If this has been valuable to you, please take a minute, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I do everything from real estate investing, financial strategy, health tips, anything that I can do to help people live a big life. That's my company, Big Life Financial. And the goal here is to help people get money out of the way so that they can live a bigger life. I believe that meditation and being able to surrender into the divine guidance that I was talking about is absolutely pivotal. So if you'd like to have an experience like that, just like an oak tree, you don't get to shortcut it. You have to plant the seed now and let it grow. The good news is, after a very short period of time, you will see massive impact in your life, with your loved ones, with your business, with your finances, with your stress levels, with your health. If you can get this one thing right, it's like a gateway drug to everything that you want in life. At least I've found it to be that way. So that's my 10-year plus journey and kind of the stages that go along the way. I hope that that can help you to see what might be a good fit for you and give you the inspiration to move forward. Really commit. You don't have to be great. Just show up every single day, because I've had plenty of days that were a train wreck in my head. And those are the days I needed it the most. So my name's Derick Van Ness. I hope this was valuable. Please like it, share it, do all that stuff. It makes a big difference for us on YouTube. And thanks for stopping by. We'll see you on the next video.